Ladies and gentlemen, we are live tonight for another edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. We are Busch Series racing at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the running of the Samstown 300. And here tonight, of course, as you see in the thumbnail, a chance to clinch the title for the second straight race for Greg Biffle in the Busch Series. He was unable to do so despite winning and leading the most laps at the Lowe's Motor Speedway 2 nights ago. But he has a shot to clinch the title tonight, and tonight it is much easier. He doesn't need any help. He simply has to finish 36th or better in this race to clinch the title one race early. If he fails to finish 36th or better and Ron Hornaday goes on to win the race, then Hornaday will have a shot going into the final race of the season still for the championship at the California Speedway next week. So, if we end up clinching the title tonight, we'll simulate that final race of the season at California. We'll end the Busch Series season tonight. So like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, full race live, realistic commentary for both the NASCAR video game stuff during the week and the real races on the race weekend. And this weekend, it is a double shot, double header weekend for you guys. Not on the same day, but tomorrow night, I'll be doing live commentary for the NASCAR Truck Series race at Kansas. That will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Sunday afternoon at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, starting with our pre-race, we'll be going live for a live commentary of the NASCAR Cup Series race at Kansas. So doing the Truck and the Cup race at Kansas this weekend, be sure to tune in for that as well. As you see in the chat, there is already a poll up and running. It is the final round for the NASCAR Truck Series on NASCAR 06 for the fan poll. Those were the final 3 drivers that you guys have to vote from based off of the polls from yesterday in the Truck Series on the community tab. Be sure to cast your vote. You have until the end of the race to do so, and that will lock in who I will race as in the Truck Series on NASCAR 06 starting next week. And in the community tab, if you have not voted yet today, also ending at the end of the stream, will be the first round for the NASCAR Busch Series drivers. Be sure to vote on all of those as well if you have not already. Again, you have until the end of the race tonight. Without further ado, let's get into this one. Our driver Greg Biffle starting on the pole and looking for a championship at Las Vegas. Patrick Shadley, welcome to the stream. Green flag in the air. We're underway at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ron Hornaday qualified in the 3rd place position on the inside of row number 2. Trying to get around Biffle in the early going. If he can help Biffle from leading a lap, that'd be big for Hornaday. If Biffle leads a lap, then he could actually get away with finishing 38th or better. Obviously based off of how Hornaday is going to do. Hornaday drives it in pretty deep. He'll get to 2nd place on the opening lap, but he's not going to be able to get around the pole sitter. And the pole sitter, Greg Biffle, will lead lap 1. Tyler Burback, welcome to the stream as well. Lap 1 led for Greg Biffle. Now he has to finish 38th or better to win the championship tonight. Unless Hornaday, of course, gets up here and leads a lap, which he is obviously in contention in the early going. Bobby Hamilton Jr. on the inside of Ron Hornaday gets back around him for 2nd place on lap 2. And Greg Biffle will lead the 2nd lap. If he goes on to lead the most in 39th or better is where he would end up having to finish in order to lock up the championship tonight if Hornaday does not lead any laps. So the more laps led, the better for Biffle throughout the course of this race, because you never know what's going to happen in this one and in any given race, especially when doing the full races. Thanks for everybody else tuning into the chat that I have not shouted out yet. The poll's kind of covering up the top portion of the chat, so I only see Patrick Shadley and Tyler Burback in there right now. I'll close it out for a quick second and then open it back up later. Once I get onto the backstretch, try not to pause it. Hornaday back to 2nd on lap 3. Side by side, shuts the door. The big block in the tri-oval on Bobby Hamilton. All Hornaday wants is a chance at the championship going into the season finale at California. He's 1 race away with a top 5 finish and a comeback at Charlotte to get that 5th place finish. He survived another race, keeping the championship hopes alive. He is a long shot to win in these final 2 races, though, despite the fact Greg Biffle had won the last 2, definitely hurting Ron Hornaday's chances. Biffle down to the apron through the tri-oval, trying to gap Hornaday as much as he can, taking the shortcut. He's going to wear the tires out quite a bit, so he's not going to do that too much. Actually holds the apron through 1 and 2 as well down to the bottom. Great grip in the race car. Viva Palone 39, welcome to the stream. Hopefully I said your username correctly. 10 people already in this stream. 3 likes. Make sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We are only 59 subscribers away from 2,000 on the channel. I said last weekend that I think if we didn't get there last week, we were going to get there this weekend. Maybe tomorrow night with the Truck Series live commentary race. I think it's possible, but if not tomorrow, we're definitely going to get there on Sunday afternoon. I can feel it. Vlogs and Gaming with Tommy, welcome to the stream. Make a Daytona online live stream. I don't plan on doing that specific online, but I do plan on doing another online lobby on NASCAR 21 Ignition soon. Just an FYI, I want to do it before I go to Indy for the 500 at the end of the month. So probably looking at either next week or the week after. Yeah, that voting poll is really close right now. 12 votes, and it is a deadlock tie between Ricky Craven and Ron Hornaday right now in the chat. Even Chase Montgomery, 17%, not all that far behind. These are 3 different teams, too. I think it's only 2 different manufacturers. I believe Chase Montgomery and Ron Hornaday are Chevrolets, and then Ricky Craven's in a Ford. I think. I know Craven and Hornaday are in their, right manufacturers. I think the 18 truck is a Chevrolet. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch up to the lap 200 mark. And again, there are community tab polls for the Busch series as well. So be sure to vote on that. The finals for that will end up being on Monday night stream of NASCAR 05. So we'll take a couple days off from the polls, and then we'll finish out the polls on Monday, when we hopefully can finish out NASCAR 05 and get that championship won in the Bristol night race for Greg Biffle in the Cup Series. Obviously, he has to win tonight's championship as well. In the second to last race of the season for the Busch Series. I think he's going to have a really good shot. Again, 36 or better. And after already leading a lap in this one, he now just has to finish 38th or better. Hornaday's still in second place, though, right now. He's not going anywhere. He's about 0.6 of a second off the race lead. Biffle going down to the apron again, trying to gap him after Biffle now has led the first 10 laps caution-free. Late caution actually costed Greg Biffle the win last night at California in the Cup Series. Ended up finishing in 8th place. The driver he was battling for the championship, Jeff Gordon, ended up with a top 5. And was actually able to gain points on Biffle in the championship on that side of things. So that's going to make it tough for Biffle to clinch the title at Bristol a little bit early. In the third to last race of the year, with Gordon gaining, and Biffle's going to have a strong day at Bristol and get a little help if he's going to want to get in. Gordon also did a great job leading laps and alternating strategy. He only led 13 laps tonight, and the only reason was because he pitted during a caution flag, so he's able to stay out about 13 laps longer than Biffle during one of the runs during the race. These were the only laps he led. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream. Oh, the 18 truck's a Dodge, so that's between 3 different manufacturers then. That's interesting. Looks like Ricky Craven's leading now at 50% after 14 votes. Looks like there was a big stack up this last time by. Look at the track map on the upper right-hand corner of the screen. You'll see there's a gigantic gap right now. Some of the cars in the top 10 are kind of spaced apart. I don't see any smoke anywhere on the racetrack, so it's kind of interesting how that ended up coming to be. It's going to be interesting to see if this is going to be a 2 or 3 stop race. We had a fuel mileage race in the last Busch Series race at Charlotte. Biffle was able to make it on 2 stops. He ran out of gas off turn 4, but was able to coast it to the checkered flag, as he had a pretty big lead. He was the only driver able to make it on 2 stops in that race. We had a caution in a weird spot, which made the window a little tighter than what it would have been otherwise, and actually ended up putting a few guys outside, a lot of the field, I should say, the rest of the field outside the ability to be able to make it on 2 stops. because they couldn't run that full first run. Furfur Express, welcome to the stream as well. Just maintaining about a half a second lead, give or take, over Ron Hornaday and Bobby Hamilton Jr. Bobby Hamilton still trying to go for third in the point standings. We'll see if he can be able to surpass Kyle Busch in these final 2 races, as the season could end tonight. Yeah, I knew Bobby Hamilton owned the truck. Bobby Hamilton Racing. Quiet race at the front of the field right now. Greg Biffle's led the first 17 laps, maintaining again anywhere between really a half a second to a 6/10 of a second lead over Hornaday and Hamilton. Still DNF, you're going to be good. Yeah, pretty much. As long as we don't get a caution in a weird spot, too, like we have occasionally this season. Biffle has finished outside the top 35 a few times this season. He has actually finished every race. He is not DNF'd, but he has finished outside the top 35 3 times. Because of getting either caught up in an accident or at Daytona where he ended up getting pushed off of pit strategy, virtue of cautions that happened throughout the course of the field that didn't even involve him. And he ended up having to make an extra stop under green and fell a lap down because of it. Never know if that could happen today. Definitely saw a wild finish last night in California. Casey Kane had a last lap pass for the win to get his first career win in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. With just a few races to go in this season, so good job for Kane on that side of things. He's in the top 10 in, he's 12th in points, actually. He finished 6th in points in the first season. And it's going to be tough for him to get a top 10 points finish these last few races, him being a couple hundred points back. It's not impossible, but I guess if he puts up runs like he did at California and winning the race last night, he could have a shot. And Elliott Sadler, who was going for his first win of the season in the 38 car for Robert Yates Racing, led coming to the white flag. Could not win the race on that restart with about 5 laps to go. Biffle starting to gap the cars behind him again, out to about an 8/10 of a second lead now. Again down to the apron through the tri-oval. And over half his car down on the apron in turns 1 and 2. He's even gotten it to stick down on that end of the track, too. Very flat Las Vegas Motor Speedway probably allows for that. Obviously, there's no progressive banking at this track in 2004 compared to what there is now. Have to wait a couple more years. I believe NASCAR 06 and NASCAR 07 still going to be like this at Las Vegas. Which will actually be back at Las Vegas in that game, with it being early in the season on the West Coast swing, as we'll be running the actual schedule for all 3 of the top series. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today for about a 4-lap stretch. See that sun glaring off into turn 1, making it a little difficult on these drivers to try and see in the desert today. William Windex, see you in the chat. If I'm not like hot like Newman was. Oh, you're talking about at the start of the race yesterday. Yeah, Ryan Newman had a bad fast car at the beginning of that race yesterday. Once we made that adjustment, though, we definitely proved that we were the faster car after that first stop of the race. I didn't catch him until about lap 108 after the second stop, but definitely cut that gap quite a bit in that second run, and eventually was able to pass him early into the third run. And still ended up going on to lead the most laps by just a few over Ryan Newman. It was really close. Oh, we have a bot. We've got a bot. Get rid of the bot. Mark DeMars, welcome to the stream. We need to get rid of this bot in the chat. We've got a bot alert. Everybody report it. We've had enough of these. Nothing more annoying. They're so, like, derogative, whatever the word is. I couldn't think of it. I think I might have had it kind of vulgar, I guess. Maybe that's the word I was looking for. Derogative, that was the word I was thinking of. I think that's, I don't know. Whatever word I was trying to think of the first time. Got my brain all flustered. We'll go back to the far chase cam now for the remainder of the opening fuel run of this race. 14 people watching, 6 likes on the stream. Billy Kramer, welcome in. See you in the chat now. Like and subscribe again for more daily NASCAR content. Greg Biffle needs to finish 36th or better to win the championship tonight. Currently leading the way and has led the first 27 laps from the pole. I think I'm going to have to ban that bot, by the way. I think he only timed it out down in the chat. I'm not taking any risks. Alright, report. There we go. Hopefully that's the only one. Thank you for everybody that reported the bot as well. Craig Franklin, welcome to the stream. I really have no clue how to get rid of those. I thought I did. I mean, they were gone for a couple months and then they just started coming back again over the last few days. Not every night anymore. When like the first time it happened, it was like every night for a couple weeks, and then it stopped for a couple months, and now it's back again. But it's not every night. It's like every other night or every couple nights. Oh my gosh, what the... Did I not just... We were just talking about it. We were just talking about it. Come on, I've reported you. I've reported you! Why is it still showing up? What the heck, man? It's like I report it and it just keeps spamming in the chat even after I report it. We must kill the bots. Let me go into my YouTube studio real quick. Try to get something resolved. Let's go. Oh. YouTube studio. can't remember where I have to go to. Sorry for pausing it. I usually don't. But we need to get this figured out. I'm tired of these bots. Channel comment mention. Yada yada yada. Mentions found. I can't remember where I have to go on here. But there's somewhere I can go where I can like ban a name that keeps popping up, and I think that's what kind of worked the first time, because it's all coming up as like similar names. Did we have another one while I was? See here. Who knew a computer could be so horny? Don't get paid enough for this. I don't get paid at all for this. Sorry for pausing it. 18 people watching right now. I will unpause it very, very soon here. I need to figure out how to get rid of these bots. This is getting ridiculous. I mean, we're only, what, like 30 laps in, 35 laps in, and they've already showed up like 2 or 3 times already. We need to dispose of all of them. I can't remember where I have to go. There was a while back that I did that. I mean, this was a few months ago. No, it's not customization. Sorry for sniffling in the camera, by the way. My allergies are hitting me again. See here. I can't remember where I have to go. I might just try to figure it out later. Oh, let me Google it real quick, actually. How do I... YouTube. I'll block someone on YouTube. Fuck under the name, flag the icon. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, we've obviously already done that. I honestly can't remember where to go on this thing to find it. Send feedback, includes screenshot. I apologize, everybody. Thank you for bearing with me. Alright, we'll get this race back going again. I couldn't figure it out. Something I'm going to have to do off stream. We'll just hope for the best today. I have to blow my nose. Sorry. Let me step away one quick second again. All right, let's get back to racing. Are we serious? I left for 2 seconds and we get another bot. This is ridiculous, man. Oh, I almost clicked the wrong one. No! Get back here. Oh, I need to figure this out. I was going to wait. But I turned away for 2 seconds and it comes back again. Let's see, comments, mentions, no, hold for review. drivers. No. I'm sorry. I was about to get back to racing, but we had another bot, and I need to really figure this out quick. Because I have a bad feeling it's going to be all night with this stuff. We've never had them this many this early. Pausing the action. Sorry for everybody coming back. Wade Zielinski, welcome to the stream. Do we have another one? How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Did we just have a fourth? Did we have a fourth while I was trying to figure out how to, hang on. We've had 4 bots in the first 35 laps. I see a bot. I'm quitting this. No, yeah, it's a rain delay. Derek Booth, welcome to the stream as well. I mean, I apologize, but there's really nothing I can do about it. I don't understand, like, where they come from. That's what doesn't make any sense to me. Let's go into settings. Community. Oh, I found it! Hang on, I found it. Let's see. That might work. I think I figured it out now. Okay, well, we'll see. The Intimidator, welcome to the stream. Reagan Fan 6, welcome. Welcome everybody that's just tuning in. I was trying to get rid of a bunch of bots that we've been getting in the... Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? What is going on, man? We have had like 5 bots tonight. I literally just went into my YouTube studio. Oh my gosh. This is exactly what I was about to talk about. I literally was just in my YouTube studio trying to figure this stuff out. Let me go back. Let me go back. Now that I know where to go. But there should be like names I could ban, which I just put in. And that's what worked the first time a while back, but... Shoot, where was I just at? Why did I close out of it? Well, I closed out of it because I didn't think I had to go back in. Settings, community. Let's go. I don't know if that's going to do anything. I tried. We're just going to have to ignore them. If we see another bot, which... I mean, we've had 5 of them already. If we keep seeing bots, guys, just report them, ban them. There's really nothing else we could do about it tonight. We're just going to have to get this race going. Lap 31, picking things back up again. I apologize for... They're always vulgar, too. I mean, that's the bad part. It's like, alright, if it was a normal bot... Like, we used to have, like, bots, and they weren't like that. They were just, like, random letters, or, like, fake names. And they would say random letters. No, do not, William. Do not. Halfway on fuel at lap 33 in the run. It was right about when Greg Biffle crossed the start-finish line when he did hit halfway on fuel. I was gone for 1 minute. Yeah, we've had 5 bots. You know what? I'm going to stop saying it. I'm going to stop saying the word bot. And I want everybody in the chat to stop saying the word bot. If we see one, let's just ignore it. I mean, well, if we see one, report it. But don't acknowledge it otherwise in the comments section. Maybe that'll help. Maybe it's like a code word for them showing up. So every time we keep saying get rid of them and then, you know, say the word, then maybe it picks up on that. I don't know. I don't know how the computers work. I don't know how that works. You actually... Greg Biffle still sitting at about a 7/10 of a second lead on lap 35. The Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Final mile and a half of the season. 2-mile oval of California is the season finale if Biffle does not clinch the championship tonight, which again he has to finish 36 or better to clinch the title 1 race early. Looking good so far. It's like it's just a 2-car breakaway. I don't know where Bobby Hamilton Jr. went. That's Rotten Hornaday in second place still, but Bobby Hamilton Jr. is nowhere to be found. And there's one car on pit road who may have just blown an engine, and I wonder if it was Bobby Hamilton. We're not going to be able to see if it was exactly him because that car has already made it to pit road. But somebody has blown an engine, and I have a feeling it was Bobby Hamilton Jr. Oh my goodness. Everybody just report it, and ignore it. This is unbelievable. I mean, this is the most we've ever gotten in a stream. And it's only... Check the community guidelines here. What do they have to say? Oh, jeez. Yep, ignore it. Everyone just ignore it. Just report it and ignore it. My boot. Oh, he said bye. Oh, okay, gotcha. I didn't realize what you said there for a second. I can't remember what I was talking about before that happened, though. Lost my train of thought now. Oh, yeah, Bobby Hamilton Jr. Yeah, it seems like he may have blown an engine in this race. Historic Cinematics, welcome to the stream. Cars One Boy, welcome to the stream as well. Mods will handle it. Yeah, make sure you report it, and then if you can hide the user, hide the user. Don't time it out, just hide the user. Well, you can do everything. Time it out, hide the user, like literally do everything you can. Oh, what just happened? Hang on. Something just happened. I don't know. I lost the chat there for a second. Okay, I've paused it like 4 or 5 times already. I really apologize for that. Jackson Thomas, welcome to the stream. No, don't unhide it. Who unhid it? Jackson Thomas. Don't unhide the bot. That's not what I meant by ignore it. Make sure it's hidden, guys. It says was hidden. Okay, never mind. I thought it said it was unhidden, now it was... I was gonna say. Favorite holiday? Probably Thanksgiving, honestly. The 3 F's, football, feasting, family. Like, Christmas is still cool, but when I was a kid, you know, I would have said Christmas. And I've still been blessed to have good Christmases since. But, it's like Thanksgiving and Christmas are kind of the same. The only difference is Thanksgiving you get more, like, food variety on the side of things versus present variety. And you get the present variety on Christmas versus over food. I mean, you could get both, but now that I'm older, I'll take the food. Food values more in my life nowadays. Biffle's having radio issues, switch channels. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Still holding about a half a second lead over Ryan Hornaday. Hornaday is able to close a few tenths of a second over the last couple laps. It was an 8/10 of a second lead at one point in time. Someone hacked into the radio. Having some extra frequency over the airways. Could you imagine if somebody hacked the radio of an actual team? It was like, oh, you need to pit this time, you're, I don't know, just like make up something about the car not being right or whatever. It's like after a pit stop, it's just like, we didn't get the lug nut on tight. Make sure you hit pit road. Bring it in. It did with Kyle Busch. He actually pitted after a pit stop. And he went a lap down. When was this? I feel like it might have happened before. I mean, now that you say that, it may sound familiar, but I can't remember when or where that was, though. NASCAR Dish Spotter hacks the radio. That's very true. It does seem like he is glitching out quite a bit. Not as bad as he used to be. Remember when that game first launched, how bad the spotter was? I mean, it's not great now, but it's 10 times better than what it was. Car high, car low, car middle. Car high, car high, car high, car high. Middle, 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 middle. Got one up high, got one up high, got two up high, got one up low, got one down low. One in the middle, one in the middle, one in the middle, one in the middle. White flag, this time by pit, 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 pit. That's exactly what the spotter would do on a basis. He'd be telling you to pit every lap. Every time you'd hit the start-finish line at Bristol every 15 seconds, you'd have to hear, pit this time, pit this time. I think you're running dry on fuel, pit this time. Pit, pit, pit. Pit this time. Clear, all clear, even though you're like 4 wide. Hornaday's closing in on Biffle on the long run right now. We're 50 laps complete, 150 still to go to try and crown a champion tonight in the NASCAR Busch Series. The champion could be crowned tonight. What will Hornaday do if he races Greg Biffle? Will he race him clean, or will he just dump him and try to keep his championship hopes alive? You never know, and I would actually, if I were Greg Biffle, I would just pull over out of the way and let Hornaday go if Hornaday puts some pressure on him just to play it safe. I mean, there's no really incentive to race super hard tonight when you only have to finish 36th or better to win the championship. Protect the points lead and get out of here with the championship so you don't have to go into the final race still having to race for it. Justin Nutt, welcome to the stream. You clinched your championship, right? No, I have not. 36th or better in this race tonight is what I'll have to do to clinch. I did not clinch in the last race. I won, led the most laps, but Hornaday finished 5th, and he had to finish 10th or worse. So he's still in it. Biffle got really wide off turn 2. Almost got in the wall for the first time tonight. Car's starting to get really tight off the exit of the corner. Middle to exit for the most part. As we get later into this run. Of course, a flatter Las Vegas track. Probably going to deal with more tighter conditions and looser conditions compared to now with a little bit of wear and tear on the racetrack. This one has a little bit more grip and it's extremely flat. So a lot of wear down on that right front tire especially. Who remembers when Homestead was flat? They actually didn't have many bad races there either. It just was... Better yet, who remembers when Homestead was shaped like Indianapolis, but it was 1.5 miles instead of a 2.5 mile? I think that was a little bit before my time. I think that was in the mid-90s when it was like that. I think that was the first iteration of the racetrack, if I'm not mistaken. They went through a couple changes in less than a 10-year span. They definitely put a lot of money in it, but I'd say what they have now definitely worked out for them in the long run. Back to a 7/10 of a second lead now for Biffle. Hornaday was able to close within 3/10 of a second, and Biffle is widening the lead right back out again. Derek Booth remembers. Yeah, when it was shaped like Indianapolis, they didn't have any cup races there at the time. I think they only hosted truck and Busch races. Lap 57. Imagine if Pocono had Daytona's banking. Oh my god. How sharp of an angle those corners are. And the track's already fast as it is. And dangerous. I mean, it's probably the most dangerous track in NASCAR even to this day. Outside of a super speedway. But The thing with Pocono is just the awkward angles when you hit the wall, especially in turn 1, how sharp it is and how high a speed you're going in. Seen some hard licks there with with tire failures especially. Thanks for the $2 super chat down in the chat below from Viva Pella 93. Love your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for sticking out all those bots tonight too, for everybody that is still sticking out. And hopefully I'm saying your name correctly in the chat. I try to shout people out whenever I see you for the first time in the chat every night. It gets harder during the live race commentary live streams because we get hundreds of people watching them, but for this it's a little easier. So Ron Hornaday pits at lap 59, or actually it was lap 58 coming to lap 59. Greg Biffle's going to stay out as long as he can on fuel. We'll see if he can make it on 2 stops, only because he was able to at Charlotte in the last race. I remember you were able to race at Flat Homestead at Thunder 04. They had the new Homestead and the flat one, which is pretty cool. Jacob Givens, welcome to the stream. I think they did too. I mean, any flat track especially. I mean, Martinsville, it was safer because it was only half-mile track, but that's why New Hampshire was so dangerous too, just with the concrete walls. It's just a sharp angle hit. Like, there's no forgiveness, not only when you hit the wall, but at that sharp of an angle. Hitting at higher Gs, even if it's not as fast of a racetrack as, you know, even a super speedway, if you were to get into the wall like that. Lap 62, Biffle stays out this time by. I think he's going to end up hitting at lap... Well, he went to lap 33 earlier, so he'll probably go to lap 64, and then he'll pit at lap 64. Which means his second stop will be at lap 128, and it's still going to put him about 8 laps short to the end, so it is definitely going to be a 3 pit stop race today for pretty much the entire field. We'll see if anybody could go longer than Biffle. If we had a caution to trap Hornaday a lap down, that would be huge for Greg Biffle right now. If a yellow came out in the middle of green flag pit stops. So Biffle will pit this time by. We're at lap 64 now. He has really stretched this fuel run out as far as he possibly can. I don't think he can go another full lap after this. Closing in on Ray Westbury through turns 1 and 2. Biffle not going to use the excess pavement coming into the pits this time. We'll get to the inside of Westbury in turns 3 and 4. It's going to be a really awkward angle getting onto pit road, though, not taking the excess road. But Biffle will get down with ease, and he does not speed either. 70 miles per hour pit road speed limit again at every track in this game. 4 tires of fuel for Greg Biffle, no adjustments, and he has not made a mistake yet. No contact with anybody or the wall in this one. It has been a clean, perfect 64 laps that he has led to start the race. But Hornaday pitted about 6 laps before him, so there's a good chance Hornaday is going to come out with his first lead of the race and get some bonus points himself. First race was the 1999 Daytona 500. Second was 1999 Pocono 500. Ever since Sonoma 99, you've seen every Cup race since. Yeah, I don't know when the last time I missed a Cup race. Even the races that were going on when I was in school, from middle school on, I would watch like as much as I can while I was at school and then watch it again when I got home. So I might have missed like bits and pieces hopping in between class and when I couldn't, you know, check my phone or tablet at the time in class. But Biffle working his way up to speed, and he still has the race lead. So even with Hornaday pitting 6 laps before Biffle, Biffle still cycles out about a half a second ahead of Hornaday. But yeah, I honestly cannot remember the last time I missed a race. I always remember I did miss the first dual race at Daytona like every year when it was during the day. Because I was at school and I would get off. And when I would get home from school, the second race would be starting, like all the time. First race is over and they were literally on the parade laps for race 2, like almost every time I would get home. So I'd watch that one during Speed Week. So that was one I definitely remember like missing a lot. And then I think there were whenever they would race on a Saturday night, and I was racing quarter midgets and go-karts when I was growing up, I would miss those races too. But I haven't raced since 2019, I think. Or 2018 was the last year I raced. Because I was 19 at the end of the year, so that would make sense. So yeah, I'd miss the Saturday. I would listen to it whenever we were in the pits throughout the course of the night. Obviously, when I was on the track, I couldn't listen to it if I was running a heat race or whatever. But I'd always be listening to MRN at least, or checking my phone whenever I could if I wasn't busy. So I'd miss those races too. But it's Sunday afternoon races, I honestly don't know if I've ever missed one since I started watching it. Because even if I couldn't watch at home, if my dad was watching football or something, I would just go to my grandparents and watch it. Every truck race since Louisville in 1999. Wow, that's impressive too. Excuse me. That's probably even more impressive considering most of those races are at night all the time. Does that count if you fell asleep during a race though? Like you had the TV on and you happen to fall asleep during a NASCAR race and then wake up. Like, does that count as missing it? I don't know if I've ever done that, honestly. There's been times I felt like I wanted to pass out, but I don't think I ever did. Like, if I ever felt like I was going to fall asleep while watching, like, a race or a game of some sort, I would just get up and, like, grab something to eat or something. Like, just get up for a quick second and then come back. I mean, Ken Squire, all-time favorite. Right now, I'd probably say Dave Moody. Squire being retired. Still counts. I guess if the TV's on, it still counts for ratings. I mean, if it counts in the TV ratings, it has to count elsewhere. Oh, Denny Hamlin very slow. Or sorry, Mike Bliss very slow. I forgot. Denny Hamlin's going to be in the 20 car at 06. I was looking at the driver lineup earlier, and that's why I called him Denny Hamlin. But Mike Bliss in the 20 car. He'll be in the Cup Series as a rookie in NASCAR 06 in the next season. He'll be driving the 0 car, replacing Ward Burton. And Ward Burton is going to be retired in NASCAR 06, so this was the last season we had a chance to use him. Ken Squire 87 right now. Yeah, he retired just recently within the last few years too. You guys know why I'm pausing it. Is that number 7? That has to be a new record. We're not even halfway done. The trends have been like every other night, so we probably won't have to deal with it tomorrow night during the truck race. I think Michael Turner may have unhidden. Unhidden it. Oh yeah, Mike Joy's my all-time favorite commentator in general. It was just Kent Squire was my favorite with MRN. I'm honestly going to be really sad whenever Mike Joy decides to retire. It's going to be a sad final broadcast for me. This is something I've aspired to do since at least I was a teenager. Like when you're a kid, you aspire to be a driver, especially when I was racing quarter midgets and working my way up the ranks, at least in go-karting and stuff. And that fizzled out, and even before it like completely fizzled out, I kind of figured when I was like 14, 15, I probably wasn't going to be able to race for a living. So about that age is when I was like, I want to get into commentating. NASCAR was the way. NASCAR was the sport, and ever since then, it's been a 7-8 year, journey, at least through high school. And obviously a 2-year journey on YouTube now. Just over 2 years on the channel. It was 2 years during the Daytona Speed Weeks this year. Well, technically, I think it was the week after Speed Weeks was technically the 2-year anniversary. Because 2020, the 500 was a little later in the month. Versus the last couple seasons. See Brian Rodriguez back in the chat. Going down to the apron through 1 and 2. A couple lap cars he's closing in on. He's really pulled away from Ron Hornaday during this second run of the race. 3.7 second lead right now. We are still caution free today as well. If we're picking him up and putting him down, and he's hoping it stays this smooth and this easy to the end of the race so he can easily get the championship. He still led all 80 laps in tonight's race so far as well. Led the first 64 laps before pitting at lap 64. He cycled out of pit road about a half a second ahead of Hornaday still. Despite the fact that he only had about an 1/8 of a second lead over Hornaday in general, and Hornaday pitted 6 laps before him, but was only able to gain about 3/10 of a second total on Biffle. I think Hornaday may have gotten caught behind the 20 car of Mike Bliss, though, when Biffle hadn't caught him, and Hornaday couldn't get around him as quickly. Maybe boxed in because Bliss was around other lap cars at the time, holding them back also. I didn't even realize he was on the track as a slow car after blowing an engine earlier. But whatever the case is, he is down a cylinder and limping his way around this racetrack. I'm keeping tabs. That's number 8. This is unbelievable. It's like YouTube doesn't care. It's like YouTube doesn't care that there's bots. They're obviously not doing anything about it on my YouTube channel. They may have for a little bit, but they're not doing it anymore. Like Bliss is on the inside through 3 and 4. Biffle got around him up high. Fingers are going to have problems with all the recording. Everybody's going to be having arthritis in their index fingers. or your thumbs if you're on your phone while watching this tonight. 4.4 second lead for Biffle. Seemed like Bliss also held up Hornaday again that last time. Less than half a second he held him up that time versus a few seconds the first time they caught the 20 of Bliss. This is making this race feel a lot longer than what it is. It's a fast race so far for the laps that we've done because it is caution-free. So, quick race pace, but we started this race almost an hour ago already. All the times I've had to pause it to handle the chat. For you guys that have been with us know why. I'm not going to explain it again. Yeah, 1-800. It's actually 1-888. Not 1-800. It's 1-888 get charter. Didn't somebody look to see if that number was still working? And said it wasn't. Is charter still in business? Does anybody know? I have no clue. A classic Greg Biffle paint scheme. A Roush paint scheme in general in the Busch series. Had a few drivers race this car. Or the old cat in the hat. Five-second lead for Greg Biffle. And growing at lap 89. Next stop is scheduled for Greg Biffle at lap 128 if he goes 64 laps into this run, just like he did earlier. So almost halfway through fuel run number 2, but not quite. Still 2 more pit stops left at the end of the race as well. Charter is no more. Yeah, I'll take your word for it, because I remember somebody said that number didn't work the last time we looked it up. Mike Bliss in the 20 car, slow on the outside. Drew Campbell gets lapped down low. Biffle goes around on the inside of Bliss as well and clears him off turn 4 with ease. Biffle's been hauling right around, and this is a very wide racetrack. It's a one groove track primarily because of how flat it is, but not unless you're actually like battling with somebody. Got a lot of breathing room off the exit of the corner, especially off turn 4. And with all that fresh pavement that you can use on the apron as well, definitely helps. Biffle's even been able to stick the aprons in the corners for the most part whenever he's gone down there, whether it's been intentional or unintentional today. Higher than expected call volume, can't accept call, it said. Surprised you actually tried to call. Speaking of Billy Kramer talking about rain in the chat, does anybody wish that there was rain in NASCAR video games? Like, even if you can't race in the rain, like, to have a rain-shortened race. It's like, oh yeah, we're racing, the rain is gonna, you know, end up dropping, according to our radars or whatever, like somewhere between lap 160 and 185 in this one, so we're kind of racing to that point. It's like, okay, do we stretch the fuel run out, or do we try to short pit and gain track position that way and hope everybody pits before the rain comes? That'd be cool. If they can incorporate that in future NASCAR games, that'd be awesome. It's something that'd be brand new. I feel like a lot of fans will like it. As long as it's not broken and it does it every single race, that would get pretty annoying, but if it does it like if on a career mode or a season mode like 3 or 4 times a year, that'd be pretty cool. Especially in these full races, because the strategy's already wide open as it is without stage racing. And the race in the rain on the road courses, yeah, that would definitely be cool too. I feel like that is something that NASCAR 20, or the Motorsport Games team, might be working on. And the only reason I say that is because they already have weather that you can adjust in NASCAR 21 Ignition. That's one of the few things that really isn't broken in the game, is setting the weather up, and it feels like the car actually does have more grip when it's cooler versus when it's warmer. Especially when you go to the tracks with low downforce. Could be every track with the next-gen cars in the next iteration of the NASCAR game. And maybe even for the 2022 update, too. Ooh, contact in the tri-oval between Terry Cook and Greg Biffle. Biffle is on the outside of Cook. First bit of contact Biffle has had in this race today. Still hasn't hit the wall yet. Underneath the 119 car in the backstretch, he kind of pinches him a bit. He was hard to pass in the last Busch Series race at Charlotte. Almost costed Biffle the win late. Almost halfway. That means our trivia question on tonight's stream will be coming up in a couple of laps. Be sure to cast your vote. And then also cast your vote in the community tab for the polls for the Busch Series, and as well as the voting poll in tonight's stream for the Truck Series on who I will race as in both of those series in NASCAR 06. And the poll in the Truck Series tonight, that is the final one. So the winner of tonight's vote at the end of the race is when I'll end the poll, and the winner is who I will race as in the Truck Series in NASCAR 06, and then in the Community tab of the Busch Series, that is the first round for all 5 of those polls. Make sure you vote then as well, as we'll check those out at the end of the stream also. Mike Bliss on the outside once again. Biffle gets by down low. One more lap away from halfway. Almost a 7.5 second lead for Greg Biffle over Hornaday. Hornaday's put up a fight today. He's in second place. You can definitely tell he's working hard, but some way, shape, or form, it's going to be tough to knock Biffle not only out of the top spot, because Biffle's led all 100 laps so far in the race today. Once they get back to the start-finish line this time, they'll lead the first half of the race. This is going to lock up 10 bonus points for Greg Biffle as well, which now means he can finish 39th or better to win the championship. Obviously, if Hornaday ends up winning, he would get 5 bonus points for leading at least 1 lap. So that would automatically end up moving it back to 38th again, with 10 bonus points for Greg Biffle. I should say 10 bonus points would be enough if Hornaday wins. He would get 5 bonus points. So it looks like 37th or better would win the championship if Ron Hornaday wins this race. So crucial to get those bonus points for leading the most laps just in case. That's going to give Greg Biffle a buffer position now. So again, 37th or better. Forget what it says on the screen where it says 36th or better. It is 37 now. that were midway through the race and Greg Biffle's clinched the most laps led. Tonight's question on the trivia is, how many wins does Greg Biffle have in the Busch Series in his career? I guess the Xfinity Series. How many career Xfinity Series wins does Greg Biffle have in NASCAR? Again, in the Xfinity Series specifically. I'll give you guys the answer to that question at lap 110. And I will not give you guys the correct answer if somebody has it down in the chat. So kind of like last night, whatever your final guess is, that is what it'll be. And make sure not to Google it or not to look it up as well. I'd like to hopefully have you guys not cheat. See how many people could get it. If anybody at all. So Billy Kramer saying 15. Sonoma flying to Japan. That's pretty cool. Hopefully you have safe travels. Be a pretty interesting part of the world to go visit. Greg Biffle has 5 Cup wins. He does not. I said Xfinity, by the way. The question is, how many Xfinity wins does Biffle have? He has more than 5 Cup wins. Greg Biffle had 19 Cup wins in his career. He was a very good driver. Highly underrated. Borderline Hall of Famer. I don't know if you can make a case. If you do make a case for him, you would have to include his truck and Xfinity stats, where he does have a championship in both series. And you consider the fact he only ran 14 seasons in the Cup Series to get 19 wins. So that's about a win and a half per season on average. And he didn't even win the last 2 seasons of his career. He did have a win in each of the first 12 seasons, though. See Brian Rodriguez saying 18. 17 as a guess, 11, 20, 22. Okay, whatever your guys' final answer ends up being is what's going to get locked in at lap 110. I'll give you guys the answer there. And no hints for tonight's trivia question as well. I'm going to be dead honest, I don't even know how many wins Greg Biffle has in the Busch Series. It was in the Busch Series when he won all of his races, so that's why I keep saying Busch Series, but Xfinity Series wins. I honestly have no clue. I was actually going to Google it when we get to lap 110 to try and figure it out. I think he's in the 20s. I guess this is the first time I'll be able to play along with the trivia question. That was the one that came up with the question, because I honestly have no clue. I know he has 19 Cup wins. And I know he's in the top 10 in Truck Series wins all time, and he has over 20 there. I want to say he has over 20 in the Xfinity Series too, but I'm not entirely sure. I've seen some people say like 21, 23. That's kind of what I was thinking. Somewhere around there. I think we're going to go with 23. That's going to be my answer. That feels like a good number. Tyler Burback has 23 locked in. Yeah, 23 is my lock. Watch it be 21. That was the one I was thinking about choosing, but I was sticking with my gut. 23 was the first one I was thinking of. Always stick with your gut. Sadler about to go lap down. He got held up big time behind Mike Bliss through turns 3 and 4. He's the last car in the lead lap in front of Biffle. See how hard he'll race the Biff this time. So we are at lap 110, so when I get to the back stretch, I will pause it and I will Google. And we'll find out. 17 wins in the truck, that's it. I know he is top 10 all time. I thought he had more in the trucks. Alright, I'll pause it real quick and I'll Google, because I honestly don't know this. How many Xfinity Series wins does Greg Biffle have? I don't think I should trust Wikipedia. I'm gonna It says 20 on Wikipedia. I'm not going to trust that. I'm going to go to Racing Reference. Always trust Racing Reference. Like, I trust Wikipedia with a lot of stuff, but for some reason that doesn't seem right. I feel like 20 on the dot is something I would have remembered. Racing Reference. Greg Biffle. That's Cup. Yeah, he has 20. His last one was in 2009, so it was actually during the Nationwide Series. 5 races won in 2004 and 2001. And, of course, he was the 2002 champ, won 4 races that season. How about Greg Biffle had 25 top 10s in 34 races in the Busch Series in 02 in his championship win. That's pretty impressive considering he was not a Cup Series regular at that time either. At a time where a lot of Cup Series regulars raced pretty regularly in the 2000s and early 2010s in the Busch Series / Nationwide / Xfinity. 20 top 5s too. What a season that year for Greg Biffle in his championship winning season in the Busch Series. 20 top 5s in 34 races. But 20, I was off. I was 3 off. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. 20 locked in. Michael Turner had 20. Who all had 20? Let me know down in the chat. Burfer Express said 20. Yeah, let me know who all got it right. Be honest with it. For your final pick. Well, this content breaks mishaps at all. I don't like taking breaks. I'm really sorry. I've paused it more times tonight than any other stream by far. I'm lucky to pause it once or twice. Very rarely I pause it, but I needed to get rid of all those bots we were having earlier. We've had 7 of them, and 7 or 8 of them, and I had to pause it for the trivia question because I didn't even know the answer to the trivia question tonight. I have been playing with minimal assists for the EA Sports games, yes. I don't trust myself to run a full race at every track. There's some tracks I could definitely get away with no assists. It's still edgy. No, I use X for gas. I don't trust the R2 and L2 button. So I feel like I have to hit R2 or L2 a lot to intimidate or ally draft behind somebody and share draft behind him. And it feels like I have to hit it like 3 or 4 times sometimes for it to work. So I don't trust the R2 and L2 on my PS2 controllers. No, exit square. The old-fashioned way. Just like I used to with the PSP. I don't press it as hard as I used to on my PSP. On my PSP, I remember like pressing extremely hard on it. I would have it imprint and blisters on my thumb. It's hard not using assist. It is. I mean, like I said, there's some tracks I could definitely run. A lot of the short tracks, I guarantee you, I'd probably wreck. Especially if I make contact with another driver. A lot of the intermediates, I could probably get away with it, though. Lap 185, yellow flag. That's what Craig Franklin's calling. Yeah, we have not had a caution yet today. We have had 5 caution-free Busch races and 4 caution-free Cup races. It's been a while since the last one in either series, though. It'd be kind of fitting if we have our 6th and final Busch Series race tonight to go caution-free. So right now, it's looking like this is going to be the last Busch race on NASCAR 05 on the channel. There's Greg Biffle. Continues to lead, 10.8 seconds ahead of second place, who is likely still Ron Hornaday. All it takes is 1 caution, though, to get him back into it, and maybe in a weird spot as well. Biffle's lapped so many cars, though, at this point, too. If we did get a caution, He's definitely lapped well past the 36th place position where he has to finish to win the championship. And again, sorry, it's 37th he has to finish now because he's led the most laps in the race today. So 37th or better to win the title for Greg Biffle, with having 10 bonus points. That's if Ron Hornaday wins. If Hornaday doesn't win, then we can finish even further back. But Hornaday is likely still in second place. It definitely helped that Bobby Hamilton Jr. seemed to be the first driver who DNF'd in this one. He was in third. And he was right there with Hornaday for the longest time early in the race. Poisonous Frog, welcome to the stream. NASCAR 5 has always been my favorite NASCAR video game of all time. Versus NASCAR Thunder 04. Thunder 04 was not a game I really had when I was younger. I think I would assume I probably played it when I was younger, but this game I definitely remember having and just played the most growing up as a kid, so this one's more sentimental to me. Therefore, it's my favorite NASCAR game of all time. And I'll be sad to see it go if we clinch the title Monday night for the Cup Series. It's been a fun ride. And we started this gameplay over a year ago, and we drug it on for quite a while, off and on. Biffle checked up quite a bit in turns 1 and 2. Way out of the gas before hopping back into the throttle to keep from running into the back of Mike Bliss. And he really needs this race to stay caution-free. And especially doesn't want to be the one caught up in the accident risk DNFing. He DNFs and Hornaday has a good finish. And just like that, Hornaday's going to have a shot at the title of California next week. 80 to go this time by. And about 8 laps away from Greg Biffle. Yeah, Martinsville in New Hampshire would be so tough without stability help. I've driven without stability help in this game. I used to all the time because I would always run shorter races. If I didn't run 100% races, I would definitely go without stability. But I have limited stability on. Which, when it's on fresher tires, it feels pretty stable, but when the tires wear out, it definitely gets pretty sideways still. That's probably why I have a pretty fast short-run car most of the time. I could probably get away with maybe driving it in pretty deep. But that also means that I'm using more of my tires when I do that. In return would mean that my car would fade a little earlier in the run. So you definitely have to manage your tires pretty well in these EA Sports video games. Yes, it does. It does that with NASCAR 21 ignition too, though. But that's the only way you can really handle the car on a 750 track in that game, especially in the ovals. So a lot of lead lap cars have been pitting within the last few laps. And Biffle will be making his second pit stop out of 3 on the race in about another 8 laps. He went 64 laps during the opening run, and he'll go 64 again is the plan this time as well. Not racist Ron Hornaday, come on guys. Yeah, that chat is really close. Last time I checked at least. I haven't checked since very early in the race. When I make the second pit stop so I don't have to pause it this time, I'll check and update you guys on what the poll is if you haven't checked recently. I see Hornaday's at 49%. I'm assuming he's in the lead considering there's 3 of them, but it was very close between him and Craven a little earlier. Even Chase Montgomery was up there, at least early in the stream. All three of them look fairly equal on votes for the most part. 2 laps away now from Biffle making his second pit stop of the race. Not going to make any adjustments during pit stop 2. Didn't make any during pit stop 1 either. He's going to try to use the excess pavement coming to pit road this time. He did not do that last time. Definitely made for a little bit of an awkward angle. I gotta say, though, Ron Hornaday's paint scheme in that 6 truck was beautiful. That good wrench paint scheme that he had. It's probably the best Truck Series paint scheme in the game, to be completely honest. Well, I have no problems running that. And if I run as Hornaday, I can't use Hornaday in the future NASCAR games, too. Or when you guys vote the second Truck Series and Busch Series season, because we will have a vote for the custom schedule season in those 2 series as well. So there's definitely a possibility we can run Craven the second time also. Alright, Biffle will pit this time by. We're at lap 128. He's the last car in the lead lap that still has to make a stop. And Biffle will pit this time. He was going to catch Bliss into turn 3 likely if he didn't pit. Biffle on the excess pavement. I gotta say he's doing a pretty good job down there right now. Probably slowed down a little too much, but oh well. 4 tires of fuel coming up for Greg Biffle. He had over a 10-second lead. Second of 3 pit stops on the day for the Biff as he inches closer to a championship. Alright, let's take a look at that pole. What are we at right now? 49% for Ron Hornaday, 35% for Ricky Craven, and 16% for Chase Montgomery. 43 votes total so far. I think last night we had like 50-something votes. And last chance to vote for the Truck Series. Make sure you do so if you haven't already. Greg Biffle's led every lap, another clean pit stop for the 60 team as well. What a race it has been. He's led every lap and race twice this season. Both of those races went caution-free, and him doing so. Can he do it again today? Or my bad, no, one of those races did have a caution, the New Hampshire race. The first one had a yellow late. And it actually trapped the field a lap down. No, it wasn't New Hampshire. Kyle Busch won New Hampshire. Whatever the last race that went caution-free was, I do remember a late caution coming out. Those are Busch races that Biffle led, of course, again, every lap in. He's done it twice this year, trying to do it a third en route to a championship tonight. He dominated Charlotte, but it still came down to the wire. This one, he's trying to dominate it, not have it come down to the wire. It was definitely thrilling, though. Not only of a finish in the fuel mileage race, but we didn't know if Hornaday made his way back inside the top 10. Had to finish 10th or better after having a penalty earlier in the race. Heading after the caution flag had come out at lap 59. It was the only caution we had the entire race. But he was able to drive back up to 5th. Survived one more race. That might have been the final fight that Ron Hornaday had for the title this season. NASCAR 6 will start after I clinched the Busch and Cup Series Championship. I clinched the Truck Series Championship a long time ago, as well as the Modified Series. So looking at sometime next week, I would probably lean on Tuesday night next week. If I clinch the championship Monday night at Bristol under the lights in the Cup Series, then Tuesday night for sure. If I can't clinch Monday night, It's going to be tough to get another Cup stream in until Thursday. So then we're probably looking at Friday next week if I don't clinch the title at Bristol. And then we'll probably have NASCAR 21 Ignition then on Tuesday and Wednesday night. Because I know the next couple races there are shorter than what the next Cup race is at Chicagoland after the Bristol race. I have to work Tuesday and Wednesday. Looks like somebody else just voted for Horner today. It's up to 50% of the votes now. A couple drivers out of the race today with engine failures. And then again, vote in the community tab as well if you haven't already for the Busch Series polls in the first round there. We'll also go through all of those. And that will set up the final round, which 5 drivers will be in the final round of the voting. And that final round will be on Monday night during the live stream for NASCAR 05. I'm thinking about doing something special for Monday night's stream, at least as like a high package at the beginning of it. With being off Sunday and Monday, I think I can get something scrambled together last minute. Again, this is my favorite NASCAR game of all time, so we need to send it away in a proper fashion. I've had a lot of great moments on the channel with this game too. Especially in the season that we had in the Cup Series. With the custom schedule season. There's been a lot of great moments of that alone. Even our Chase for 8 season with Jimmy Johnson getting his first title. Which eventually would lead him to go on to winning one. Bought Dr. Squash Cedar Orange Soap. Smells straight from Home Depot. Did you get it from Home Depot? That would probably explain it. If you didn't get it from Home Depot, I have no clue what's wrong with your soap. Bliss started on the bottom, trying to get out of Biffle's way. A little later than what Biffle would have liked, but got out of the gas in time and didn't run over the 20. Saw a couple of cars short pit that last time by. The fuel window's open to the end of the race for those who want to pit right now. And there's quite a few cars pitting again this time by as well. Risky if we do get that first caution of the race. They're going to get trapped a lap down. Biffle has a 13.5 second lead. We've seen in the circumstance in the Busch Series a couple times this year where he'll go fuel only or right sides only at the end of the race. He's definitely not going to do that now because he does have a pretty comfortable lead taking 4 tires that he'll still end up coming out with the lead. Even if they make a pit road mistake, really, as long as he doesn't speed and they make a mistake. No reason why he wouldn't come out with the lead if he does make a green flag stop before we get a caution. If we get a caution, then obviously he'll pit under the yellow because we're within the window now. Either way, it's going to be a 4-tire stop. Some lap cars coming out of the pits down on the bottom of the racetrack. Donnie Hart in the 128 car down on the bottom of the racetrack. Slides up right in front of Greg Biffle. Biffle crosses him over off turn 4. His Hart's still getting up to speed. And Biffle clears him. The final race of the season would be the next race for the Busch Series. It would be at California. And that one would end up being on Tuesday night next week if I can't clinch it. But again, have to finish 37th or better, so it's looking pretty likely. Hornaday hasn't led a lap yet, so it's actually 39th or better right now. But if Hornaday were to win, then obviously he would lead a lap as well. One car got in the wall off turn 4, a lapper that just lost his lap to Biffle that time. I think it was a 56 car. 14.3 second lead. Another thing I'm also excited for, remember, I have not won at Daytona in the Truck or the Cup Series on the EA Sports video games, and obviously in the Cup side, that would include Thunder 04 and NASCAR 05. I've not won a single Cup race at Daytona. 0 for 5 in NASCAR Thunder 2004, and 0 for 5 here as well. I've won a dual race, I believe, twice. I think I won a dual race in Thunder 04 and in NASCAR 05. But points paying race at Daytona, I have not won one. So I'm 0 for 10 going into that Daytona 500 next week on NASCAR 06. We'll see if we can win it. We'll be driving as Dale Earnhardt Jr. He knows how to win at Daytona. If there's one guy I can win it with, it has to be him, right? You would think. He would have been the defending Daytona 500 winner as well in 04. That would be the game that came out in the 2005 season. So we'll be trying to get him back-to-back Daytona 500s. We'd eventually give him 3 on his career because he won, of course, his second in 2014. I noticed the last 2 or 3 lap cars Biffle's passed off turn 4 has gotten into the wall. In the dirty air and maybe on somewhat older tires, about medium tires as far as length goes during the current fuel stint, tire stint. In the last 3 races of the Cup Series season, if I don't clinch in the next race at Bristol, the Bristol night race in the Sharpie 500 would be the next race. The second to last race would be Chicagoland, and then the final race of the year would be Talladega if I don't clinch the title at Bristol or Chicagoland. Bot number 9 in the chat. We actually had a pretty long increment. I think we actually went about 30 or 40 laps that time before seeing a bot. I don't want to know what the Smith hole is. I get what it is. I've never heard it referred to as that before. Nor did I want to find out during stream. Specifically my streams. Let me report it. Wish you could report it for more than just one thing. Maybe that would keep them away. Maybe. Appreciate the comment, Derek. I wish I knew why too, Billy. 50 laps to go at Vegas. And the hunt for the championship for Greg Biffle. Not as hot in my room tonight while I'm streaming. I think a large part of it is I started a little later today at 8. So it's not as bad. And it's only a 300-mile Busch race. And the best thing is I stream at night tomorrow too. Because it'll be during the truck race. That might be even shorter stream than this. 50 to go in the what is looking like, at least the way it's gone so far, the final Busch race in NASCAR 05 history on the channel. Been a good run with Greg Biffle, and then even in our first season with fan-voted driver Kevin Harvick, we won the title there as well. Today I'm on race commentary in real life. And somebody, oh my gosh, what is going on? No! Not Tinder. Well, there's number 10. We have hit double digits for the first time ever on the channel with bots in the chat. As much as I hate them now, I think I'm just going to start making fun with them. And making fun of them. Not one for getting upset, I'm one for wanting to keep good times rolling. .15.5-second lead now for Greg Biffle. It's about a half a track right now ahead of second place. I have been watching. I watched Game 6 of the Lightning and Toronto Maple Leafs game last night. That was a great game. I also caught the end of the Boston game. I caught the end of the Boston game. I caught the end of the second period of the Tampa game after I got done streaming. I watched the third period. I watched the first 10 minutes of overtime. I had to go to bed after that because I didn't know when the game was going to end. It was about 11:15, and I had to get up at 4 o'clock this morning for work. So I definitely stayed up a little longer than what I probably should have. I should have went out at 10, but after regulation was over. But I was like, I'll stay up just in case somebody scores in the first half of overtime, and nobody did. I don't know how long that game went. I heard Tampa won and forced a Game 7, but I don't know like how many. I don't know if it was just the one overtime and when they scored in it, or if it was multiple overtimes. All I know is Tampa won. And then I've seen a couple other games. I think I saw Game 2 of the Pittsburgh series. And then I saw, what other game was it? Haven't checked if the Canes won. They lost last night. They're going to Game 7 also. Game 7 in Charlotte against the Bruins. So I know of at least 2 Game 7s tomorrow night. I believe those games take place. I believe they're tomorrow night. It may be on... I know the one game's Saturday night for sure because I remember them advertising it for Saturday. I would assume they're probably both on Saturday. Maybe one's during the day and one's at night. Either way, they're both Saturday. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm glad you guys are at least understanding of it. Because I just feel like people may see it, I could see somebody getting offended by it and leaving. And it's not like I'm doing it. I have no control over it. The only thing I have control over is banning them and reporting them to YouTube. And obviously that doesn't work, but that's all I can do. Obviously you guys know, I mean, I rarely ever cuss on stream, let alone, you know, talk about that stuff. I mean, it's a family-friendly channel for sure. Might not see with the bots in the chat from time to time. Tonight's case, whenever there are bots. Avalanche are probably going to win. I would have said Tampa going into the season, but they're struggling against Toronto. I mean, honestly, Toronto looked like the better team last night from what I was watching. The entire second half of the game and the start of overtime, I thought for sure Toronto was going to win the game. The only reason Tampa was able to tie it up in regulation is because they had a 5-on-3 power play, and they literally scored on the 5-on-3 and the 5-on-4 power play. If they didn't score during both of those power play goals in the third period, they would not have even went to overtime, and they would have been knocked out the first round. Back-to-back champs would have been out round 1 and 6. And they would have lost at home. But they didn't. They did survive. If Toronto plays like that in played like they did in Game 6 and Game 7 tomorrow, then they're definitely going to end up winning. I have not watched the NBA playoffs at all yet. No, haven't watched basketball in a while, honestly. Since the Pistons have been so bad. The reason why I've been watching hockey more is because the Red Wings were actually halfway decent this year. They didn't make the playoffs, but they've been a lot better. They were a lot better this year than what they have been the last few years. They were bottom of the barrel before that. I think this year they barely missed the final playoffs. By barely, I mean by, seeding-wise. They were a couple games worth of points out at the end of the season, but I think they missed out by like 8 or 10 points or something like that, but that's a lot better than what they have been doing. So maybe next year they'll be in the playoffs. And I was at a Red Wings game earlier this year, and I've been able to watch them a lot more because Hulu has ESPN Plus, so I'm able to catch them. I can never see any Pistons games on TV for the most part anymore. Same thing with the Tigers, but I still keep up with Tigers. They were supposed to be decent this year. I don't know how much longer we're going to stay with them this season and stay into there. It's still early, but man, they're looking like they did like 3 years ago, and they were borderline 500 last season. They almost made the playoffs too. I don't know what happened. And we have a better team this year, at least on paper, compared to the last 4 or 5 seasons. Got Javi Baez in the offseason. He is playing good, but the rest of the team, not so much. Jonathan Scope's having a bad year. Miggy's still hitting pretty good for average. Torkelson's been killing it as a rookie right now. He's looking like a Rookie of the Year contender. But, I mean, outside of those 3 in the lineup, everybody else, the other 6, they can't hit at all this season to save their lives, whether they're veterans or not. Even Grossman last year had one of the highest plate percentages in the MLB, and this year he's been terrible. Average-wise, he wasn't bad last year, too. I think he was around 260, 270, but his on-base percentage, not plate appearance, I meant on-base percentage, for the longest time, he was number 1 because he was the most walked player in the league last season. I don't know if somebody ended up beating him out for that late in the year, but I know for the first few months he was the most walked player. Always finding a way to get on base. Fundamental baseball. Miami made it to the conference finals. What's up with Florida sports, man? Florida sports have been awesome lately. Specifically Tampa, but even, Miami with the Heat. Can't really say the same for the Dolphins. Buccaneers, though, obviously championship contenders as long as Brady's staying there. The Lightning have won back-to-back titles. Tampa Bay Rays have been in the playoffs the last few years. Tampa's got it going on with their sports right now. Looking like Boston in the 2010s. They were winning almost every title in every sport, or at least contending for it in every sport. .32 laps to go at Las Vegas, still awaiting the final pit stop of the race. It's still caution-free with a 17-second lead for our season points leader and race leader, Greg Biffle. He's led every lap from the pole so far as well, trying to make history for the 3rd time this season. I don't know if any driver in Busch Series history has ever led every lap in a season more than once. Biffle has the capability of doing it 3 times this season. I know these Busch races are only 200 to 300 miles, but even still, super impressive. And if he does win tonight, it would be his 19th win of the Busch Series season in 30 races. Not going to win the last one to California if he clinches the title tonight because it'll be simulated, but 19-win season, that's incredible. And I know he is a Cup Series regular, and it's Roush Fenway equipment in the mid to early 2000s, so by far between already being a Busch Series champion at this time and running full-time Cup Series, it is definitely a strong advantage being able to race as Greg Biffle this season, and even Kevin Harvick in the first season. But you guys voted for me to race as at least Harvick. I wanted to win Biffle Busch title in this game because I knew he wasn't going to be in 06. So we'll have 2 fan vote seasons for the truck and the Busch Series in NASCAR 06. Fortnite still leading the poll right now in the chat as well at 48%. Ravens closed in a little bit. It was 50% of 20 laps or so ago. Cast your vote if you have not already, or who you want me to race as the NASCAR 06 in the Truck Series. Again, likely looking at Tuesday night, kicking things off with the Truck Series next week at Daytona for the season opener on NASCAR 06. And we'll have the Speed Weeks next week where we'll have the truck race likely scheduled Tuesday night. Wednesday night will likely be the Busch Series race at Daytona, and then the Daytona 500 on that Thursday. Also, the dual race will be on Thursday afternoon on the channel as well. So, doubleheader that Thursday with our Speed Weeks at Daytona. We'll have the dual race in the afternoon, and then the Daytona 500 that night. Take skill managing Roush on total team. Yeah, and I mean, that's one thing that we're going to have to do with DEI. Make sure Dale Jr. and Michael Waltrip are getting good finishes. I mean, I try to, work with my teammates in other games as well, but you have more of a chance of being able to do that from NASCAR 06 to NASCAR 09. So it'll be interested to see what we can do there. I'm not going to be swapping back and forth the entire race by any means. But I will do it a couple times through a race for about a 5-lap stint or so. Just kind of doing a field pass scenario. Adding more to the realistic side of things with the commentary and the broadcast of the video game side. Nice if it gets stagnant. Yeah, exactly. If it does, that's probably when I plan on doing it. When the race starts to slow down at some point. It's like, alright, let's do a field pass. That'd be a good time for it. Kind of like when I alternate through the different camera angles, which I can't remember, and I haven't been able to check. But hopefully NASCAR 6 has an in-car driving camera. Because NASCAR 5 does not. Thunder 04 did. So it kind of stinks that we didn't have that camera angle in this game. Hopefully we have it in NASCAR 06. You have to let me know down in the chat if you know for a fact if we do or don't. Speaking of alternating through the different camera angles, we'll do that for the final time in the Busch Series on NASCAR 05 right now. Again, assuming Biffle will hang on to win the championship in another 23 laps. It's looking good. There's a lot of cars a lap down, so even if we got a caution, the only thing that Biffle would be in danger of would be potentially getting wrecked on the restart. But as long as he stays out of trouble, he should have this locked up. I'm not sure how many cars have DNF'd either. Maybe we don't even have 37 cars on the racetrack anymore. That could be possible. Well, Mike Bliss is out there and has been running slow for most of the race. Down a cylinder. And we have some of the leaders pitting this time by. I think second place is on pit road. Greg Biffle's going to take this run as long as he can. He's got a big lead just in case the yellow comes out. Try to trap even more cars a lap down. Round of golf is going to be canceled tomorrow. I'm hoping I can play after work tomorrow. It's going to be tough. I have rain on the way. They're calling for about 5, 6 o'clock. I get off at 4:30. I think worst case scenario, if I only have like an hour, I'm probably just going to hit the driving range outside of work so I can at least hit some balls tomorrow before the rain comes. I only need about a half hour to get through some range balls. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I'll definitely keep a close eye on the radar while I'm at work. played 18 holes a day. I shot 82. I shot 82 or better in my last 3 18-hole rounds. And I had a 39 and a 9-hole round I played last week, too. Pretty good. Not quite mid-season. It's very close to mid-season form for me. Because usually I'm in the mid to high 70s. So low 80s a couple times over the last couple weeks. I'm getting close. 19 laps to go. We'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of the race. Greg Biffle, again, will still have to make one more stop, and we're likely looking at lap 192 being the final stop of the race for Greg Biffle. He got up into Terry Cook over driving turns 1 and 2 a little bit. Biffle does not want to cause a caution here if he can help it. Probably going to end up taking that excess road into the pits just like he did the last time as well. Worked out well for him. Made it a lot easier getting to pit road as well. Definitely going to be a lot more exciting of a championship race, not only with it being Bristol in the Cup Series on Monday night, but considering it's going to play out a lot how that Busch Series race did, I have to assume, where Biffle's going to need a little help to clinch the title that night for losing points to Gordon at California last night in the Cup race. 1 to 3 inches of rain there, but that's a lot. It's like a monsoon. That is what I would definitely call a torrential downpour. Yeah, I'm just supposed to get some showers like tomorrow evening. I don't think I'm supposed to get anything on Sunday. So I shouldn't flood the course or anything. If I can't get out and play tomorrow. Definitely be out Sunday. $15 to go this time by. We'll check out those poles and get on out of here. Sorry for the stream going a little bit longer tonight. We were supposed to get this done likely before 10 o'clock, but all the bot issues we had earlier, I was trying to get it resolved, and ultimately it was just a waste of time in the end, in hindsight, because they kept showing up and we ended up having 10 up to this point. We still got 15 to go, so it's not over yet. Could see more to add on to a record-breaking day as far as that goes. It's not a record I was hoping to break today. Greg Biffle looking for his second Busch Series championship. That is something to rewrite in the history books. And a long season to try and do so. Oh, he's going to be in the wall off turn 4. Mike Bliss really... Oh, my gosh. Mike Bliss took his line away, and then Biffle bounced off the wall, nearly turned himself off the front bumper of the 106 car who was behind him. He may not catch Bliss again the rest of this race, and I only say that because it's going to depend on where Biffle cycles off of pit road when he makes his final stop, because he's going to have to pit before he catches Bliss another time. If he does catch him, though, he'll probably only catch him one more time. Yeah, blame the bots. Yeah, this race was supposed to be over about 20 minutes ago. And we're still running. We got 13 to go. Loose on entry into turn 1. It wasn't a big hit into the wall for Biffle, and that's unfortunate. That's the first time he hit the wall all race. Mike Bliss way off the pace, taking his line away in the middle of 3 and 4. Biffle going to the outside. It just didn't work out for him. Bit of a scare there. That would not have been a caution Biffle would have wanted, because he wouldn't have been able to pit for fuel and tires, which means that he was probably going to end up having to pit under green. 12 to go. We have another one. That's the third. Sorry, I don't know why I said the third. That is the 11th bot of the night. TJ Oshie just scored. Shield your eyes in the chat. Shield your eyes, kids! I think the bots heard you. That's what I'm saying. I feel like they hear me say it, and it's like, oh, code word. So I try not to say it as much as I can. It slipped up that time. That was my fault. Ten laps to go for Biffle. So close to his second career Busch Series championship. 20 career wins in real life in the Busch Series in his entire career. We had 19 this season as long as Biffle holds on to win this one. And there were a few of them that got away too, including at New Hampshire a couple races ago when Busch had ran him down from a 2.8 second deficit in the final 9 laps. Biffle got caught up in heavy lap traffic at the end of the race and costed him the win. 9 laps to go this time by. Biffle will pit this time by. It's another 64 lap run on fuel. It'll be the final pit stop in NASCAR Busch Series history on NASCAR 05. And this will put those cars that are a lap down right now back on the lead lap if we did get a late caution in this one. With locking the tires up to turn down onto the excess road, onto pit road. And Biffle is going to be in. Taking his time. He had a big lead, over half a track lead on second place. 4 tires and fuel, no adjustments for the 60 of Biffle. And no pit road speeding penalty tonight either. Can't recall having one in the Busch Series this season. I had 2 in the Cup Series and they were both in the same race. Looks like a clean stop. Clean stop for Greg Biffle. He's going to work his way back on the track with just 8 laps to go. Drifting his way back up onto the racetrack. And again, a big lead. It looks like Kenny Wallace is the first one 1 lap down. No free pass in the Busch Series, though. Gonna have nightmares, oh God. 7 laps to go. A 20-second lead for Greg Biffle. Absolute domination. He's led every lap in this caution-free race so far. This will be the 6th caution-free race in the season. I do think as the EA Sports games go on, it does feel like there were more cautions in the later iterations of the game. I never played 08 and 09, but from gameplay I've seen of it, it seems like there's quite a few AI wrecks. And I remember 07 having more than 05. And 05 definitely has a lot more than Thunder 04. And we still had about to be 6 caution-free Busch races. We had 4 in the trucks and 4 in the Cup Series so far. In the grand scheme of things, when you have over 30 races a season, it's not a lot. And considering the Busch and the truck races are a lot shorter, so it's more likely to go caution-free than the Cup side. There's been some tricky racetracks in the Cup Series that have gone caution-free, though. Martinsville and Bristol were 2 of the 4. 500 miles at California, and I believe Las Vegas was the other racetrack that went caution-free in the Cup Series, and sure enough, in the Busch Series, it looks like we're going to go caution-free here as well. It was a night race for the Cup side. 400-mile, 266-lapper. This one, of course, 300 miles, 200 laps in the daytime. 4 to go this time by. If we get a caution now, I think the race is going to come to an end anyway. Gonna catch Mike Bliss one more time into turns 1 and 2. Oh, he pulled up right in front of Ashton Lewis on the outside. Better him than Biffle. He's gonna stay out of the points leader way this time. It's not an emotional championship. It's not the Cup Series yet. We haven't won a season-long Cup Series title on the channel. We're possibly 1 race away from doing so. We'll try to do that on Monday night. And that could be, again, the final stream and the final time I play NASCAR 05 on the channel. I say possible because we don't know if I'm going to clinch a championship or not yet, but whenever that stream will come, it is definitely going to be emotional. Again, this is a game I played the most growing up as a kid. And, you know, NASCAR video games growing up, definitely a huge part of my life for sure. Great to bring these games back, and it's going to be very, very crazy. And to do it at my favorite racetrack, in my favorite race, the Bristol Night Race, you know, what better of a poetic finish to that. And it wasn't supposed to be the final race of the year. If we made it to the final race still battling for a championship, it was going to be at Talladega. So that was not planned to run Bristol as the final race. But it's looking to be that way. White flag will be in the air off turn 4 this time for Greg Biffle. And it'll be one lap away from history, leading all 200 laps from the pole today at Vegas, even through 3 pit stops. Still was able to lead every lap. He went further than everybody else on fuel. Everybody had to make it on 3 stops, a 20.5-second lead. And this will be the 6th caution-free race of the Busch Series season. We'll simulate California, and then the polls will lock, both in the chat right now and then in the community tab. We'll check that out as well, so don't go anywhere. Checkered flag is going to wave. Greg Biffle wins at Vegas, his 19th win, 39th of his Busch Series career, and Greg Biffle is now a 2-time Busch Series champion, as he'll clinch the championship 1 race early. Back-to-back wins as well. 3 straight finishes in the top 3 en route to the championship at the end of the season. Finishes strong, just as strong as really he started the season. He, remember, won the first few races of the year as well. And he was off and rolling. There's a tight battle there with about 9 or so races to go, but that DNF at Michigan from Hornaday, with about 7 races to go, really won Biffle the championship. If he didn't DNF in that 1 race, then we would still be fighting for the championship another day. But Greg Biffle is going to win it. Only 3 cars finish on the lead lap. Hornaday didn't... Oh my gosh, where did Hornaday finish? He blew an engine? Oh, we're going to have a massive points lead now. He may be in danger of losing 2nd place. Gotta check out the DNFs first. I want to see where Hornaday finished. Wow, Hornaday did blow an engine. Lap 125, he finished 39th. Man, that's just going to expand the points lead even more. Obviously, we clinched... So we really clinched the championship at lap 125 and didn't even know it. We clinched the championship at lap 125 and had no clue. We just ran the last 75 laps of the race, unaware that the championship was already won. If I would have known that, I probably wouldn't have raced the full race. To be completely honest. Would have called it quits. Would have been like, alright, I'm out. Let's get this over with. Tiny Buchanan ends up with the win. Or, sorry, with the win. Ends up with a DNF at lap 9. Bobby Hamilton Jr., we saw him blow an engine while running 3rd earlier. Dwayne Borland blew an engine. Luke Nixon blew an engine. We mentioned Hornaday blew an engine. He was also in the top 3 like Hamilton was. Mike Bliss blew an engine but came back out and finished the race 53 laps down. David Stremme DNF'd with an engine failure. Manny Brown DNF'd with an engine failure. Matt Kenseth blew an engine. My goodness, we had a lot of engine failures in this one. So yeah, I mean, even if Hornaday didn't DNF, if we would have made it to lap like 161, we would have won the championship even without leading any laps, just based off of engine failure. So definitely a lot easier than what it was coming into the race to win the championship, and it was already somewhat easy enough, at least for my standards. 20.5 second margin of victory, again caution free, no lead changes. The pole sitter led all 200 laps and won. And again, only 3 cars finished on the lead lap. There's your top 10. Greg Biffle with the win. Kyle Busch in 2nd. Mark Martin 3rd. Kenny Wallace 4th. Ashton Lewis rounds out the top 5. Tim Fedewa in 6th. J.J. Yaley 7th. Hermie Sadler 8th. Paul Menard 9th. And Casey Atwood rounds out the top 10. Now we'll simulate California. We'll look at those finishing results. And then we'll look at the point standings results as well for the Busch Series. And then we'll take a look at the polls in the chat. So you got a couple more minutes to vote in the community tab and in the poll in the stream for tonight. So the Statter Bros 300 at California will be simulated. And Kevin Harvick will go on to win that race. I think that's his first Busch Series win of the year, if I'm not mistaken. It is. Greg Biffle will go on to lead 2,817 laps this season. And again, 19 victories as well. I didn't keep track of top 5s and top 10s in this series. Largely because there were a lot of drivers only running part of the schedule with the Cup Series regulars. But Kevin Harvick does get a win in the season finale. And with that win, that means we will finish the season off with 9 different winners. And only 4 drivers won more than one race. J.J. Yeley had 2. Kyle Busch had 2. Dale Jr. had 3. Greg Biffle had 19. Bobby Hamilton Jr. had 1. Ron Hornaday had 1. David Stremme had 1. Kevin Harvick had 1. And Hermie Sadler also had 1. He won a super speedway race, if I remember right. I think he won the Daytona night race. Yep, that's exactly where he won. All right. Let's see where we finished. Looks like Harvick had 16 laps and road to a victory there. Kenseth finished 2nd. Kyle Busch 3rd. Ron Hornaday 4th. Mark Martin 5th. David Stremme rounds out the top. Mark Martin 5th. Stremme 6th. Hermie Sadler 7th. Ashton Lewis 8th. Billy Parker 9th. And Bobby Hamilton Jr. rounds out the top 10. I'm going to assume we probably finished last. That's what he usually does when he simulate it. 41st. So had us finish all the last. They were last of everybody that finished. Darrell Bradford, Corey Haynes, DNF with engine failures. Now we'll take a look at the season standings. Again, Greg Biffle, we already know, is the champ. Greg frickin' Biffle. GFB. Champ was cruising to the championship during the race. Yep, exactly. 305-point lead for Greg Biffle at the end of the season over Hornaday. Even simulated that last race, but that's only because Hornaday blew an engine in the second to last race of the season at Las Vegas tonight. Kyle Busch ends up 3rd in the point standings as a rookie in the Busch Series. He'll be full-time in the Cup Series in NASCAR 05. In the 5 car, he'll also be full-time in the Busch Series. Well, maybe not full-time in the Busch, but he'll be full-time in the Cup Series. We'll see him in the Busch Series for at least select races as well. Bobby Hamilton Jr. finishes 4th in the point standings, 823 back. Kenny Wallace ends up in the top 5 finish in points in the Busch Series. Great run for Kenny. J.J. Yeley ends up 6th in his first season in the Busch Series. Ashton Lewis finishes in 7th. Casey Atwood 8th. Blue Castleberry, the only generated driver to finish in the top 10 in the point standings in the Busch Series, finishes 9th. And David Stremme rounds out the top 10 in the point standings. I think the highest running Cup regular outside of Biffle, who of course ran every race and we drove us in for the championship. Dale Jr. was the highest running, 21st in points, even though he ran less than half the races, 3 wins and a lot of great finishes when he was running. He had a few DNFs later in the season. I think he DNF'd at Michigan and Atlanta, if I remember right. But, I mean, outside of that, though, he was on it whenever he decided to race. Pole awards on the season, I believe I had 16 poles. Not as many poles as wins, but 16. The next closest, Manny Brown, had 3. Ashton Lewis had 2. Bobby Hamilton had 2. Kyle Busch had 2. And then Dwayne Borland had 1. Ron Hornaday had 1. Tim Fedewa had 1. Tiny Buchanan had 1. Paul Menard had 1. And Gene Martin had 1. So 11 different pole sitters and 9 different winners on the season this year. So that's going to wrap up those season statistics. And now we're going to end the poll. So in the chat, I will be racing as Ron Hornaday for NASCAR 06 in the Truck Series. You guys have voted 47% to Hornaday, 33% to Ricky Craven, and 18% to Chase Montgomery. A total of 48 votes on tonight's poll. So thanks for everybody voting. Now let's check out the community tab and see what you guys voted for the Busch Series polls. So we'll get the display capture on. I'm going to have to refresh this because this was from a few hours ago before the stream started. So I'll get the display capture on. I'll show you guys through my laptop. Alrighty. Community tab. Community. Alright. No surprise, Dale Jr. wins the first pole in the Busch Series. In the 81 car, oddly enough, that season. That's an odd number to see Dale Jr. run. But Dale Jr. will win the very first pole in the first round. ahead of Elliott Sadler. 59% of the votes for Dale Jr., 17% for Jeremy Mayfield, 16% for Casey Kane, and Elliott Sadler had 8%. So again, 63 votes in that poll there. Ryan Newman, Carl Edwards ends up winning the second poll in the number 60. Coincidentally, the same car that we just won the championship with Greg Biffle. But Carl Edwards will be in that car in NASCAR 06. 58% of the votes in that poll. Beat out Ryan Newman, Brian Vickers, and Jamie McMurray. Newman had 23%, Vickers had 9%, and McMurray had 11%. Landslide win for Tony Stewart. 58 votes in this one. 71% said Tony Stewart. So Stewart will also go into the final poll on Monday night for the Busch Series. Beating out Tony Raines, who had 7%, Shane Meal had 7%, Kenny Walls had 14%, Brandon Miller had 2%. 65 votes in this poll, and this was at least the closest that we've scrolled across so far. Matt Kenseth will win the vote, of course, our 2023 Hall of Famer. Kenseth with 43%, 26% for Bobby Labonte was second in this poll. Tie for third between J.J. Yaley and Michael Jordan Jr. Not Michael Jordan. Not MJ, not the 23-11 owner, not the six-time NBA champion. Michael Jordan Jr. Finishes with 11% of votes. Denny Hamlin had 9% of votes. So, Denny Hamlin literally had less votes than J.J. Yaley and Michael Jordan Jr. out of 65 votes. A lot of Hamlin haters, it seems like, in the NASCAR YouTube community, at least when it comes to the chat. That's kind of funny. And then, actually, this one looked to be the closest of the 5 polls today in the community tab. Mark Martin, 32%, will win the votes, 65 votes in this one. He will also go to the finals. 14% for Martin Truex Jr., Aaron Crocker with 17%, Clint Boyer with 17%, Kyle Busch with 20%, a 12% victory for Mark Martin. So Mark Martin, Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards, and Dale Jr. will be the final 5. And actually, I think I can only put 4 in a poll. Yeah, I think I can only put 4 in a poll. Let me check real quick. I can put 5 in a poll on the community tab, but only 4 here. So I guess we will have a second round. That is not going to be the final round. So there will be a second round. I think I'm going to have the 3 Roush guys in one poll. And then Tony Stewart, Dale Jr. in another tomorrow on the community tab. So round 2 for the Busch Series will be in the community tab. And then on Monday night, I'll have the finals for the Busch Series. And then all the voting will be done for NASCAR 6, at least for the first season. And then obviously we'll have voting going on for Season 2 when the custom schedule comes around well after we finish the first season. That's going to be way down the road yet. But with no new NASCAR game coming out next year, I guess it won't be as far down the road as we think it is. It'll probably only be like 3 or 4 months. We'll probably get through NASCAR 06 pretty quick, honestly. Not doing a modified series. Any seasons of it. We did 2 in NASCAR 05, and the fact that there's no new NASCAR game next year, so. There we go. Terry Road, welcome to the stream. Take the highest 3 in one poll, and then the second poll. I would do that. The only reason I would put all the Roush guys in one poll is because there's literally 3 Roush drivers of the 5 that won today. So I think all the Roush drivers in the Busch Series. I don't think there's a Roush driver in the Busch Series that didn't win a poll today. Looking back at it, not that I noticed at least. Kenseth, Martin. Yeah, I think that would be it for the Roush guys. All 3 of them won. Oh, Todd Kluver. Oh, no, Kluver's in the Truck Series. Yeah, he's not in the Busch Series yet. Yeah, so those were all the Roush guys in the Busch Series in that game. But thank you, everybody, for voting nonetheless. So be on the lookout in the community tab tomorrow afternoon for votes. We'll end up having the voting poll open for those 2 in the community tab until the end of tomorrow night's truck race. I'll be doing live commentary for the truck race tomorrow night starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, again, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to tune in on the channel as it's going to be a fun one. Going to be having some live commentary for the truck race at Kansas, so hope to watch the race with you guys tomorrow night. And then the Cup race on Sunday as well. I'll be doing live commentary for that will start at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We are less than 60 subscribers away from 2,000 on the channel. If we don't get there tomorrow night with the live race commentary, I think we'll definitely get there Sunday afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for your support, as always. It's been a fun journey, and what a quick ride. It feels like we had 1,000 subs literally not that long ago. It's crazy how quick we got the next 1,000 right after that. Thank you, everybody, again, from the bottom of my heart, helping me pursue my dreams of working in real life in the sport of NASCAR, commentating real races. That's what this channel is all about. You guys have gone a long way already, more than what I ever could have imagined, and we're still in the early stages of this channel. Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Congratulations to Greg Biffle for winning our Busch Series title. We'll see if he can do it on Monday. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for the Truck Series race at Kansas.